What is up, guys? Happy Thanksgiving. We've got football all day today. It's going to be amazing. My name is Tyson Smith, joined by Ellie Hernandez. Ellie, I got an important question for you. What is your favorite kind of pie?
It's a tie between banana cream pie and coconut cream pie. I don't know. It's kind of a random thing,
Well,
but
I
love
guess
them,
I should have asked you what's your favorite Thanksgiving type pie. Is that the same answer?
Oh yeah, no, we go get the pie that I like. Everybody, I don't like pumpkin pie, so everybody else can have that one.
What about pecan?
Yeah, pecan's pretty good.
All right, we'll move on. Nobody gives a shit about what we what we care about. Let's get into this game here. Actually, you know what? Let's talk quickly. First, we're gonna do a review because I'm not just gonna show you the times that we crush. I want to show you the times that we absolutely suck as well, which was for that Monday night game. We're gonna look at that real quick as far as the winning lineup. But we are giving away that gift card, that $50 DK gift card later in the show. So stick with us on that. And let's look at this lineup review here. So George Kittle, captain. And you've got Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Jimmy Garoppolo, with Greg Dortch, good old Greg Dortch coming through with Rondale Moore, which was 50+% owned. Dude got hurt on the first play, basically. So Greg Dortch steps in and absolutely crushes. That should have been Rondale Moore. And D-Hop. No Christian McCaffrey in the opto. That is a first almost. That does not happen that often, man. How did you do for this slate? Because I didn't do terrible. I think I won back 60 or 70% of my bankroll, or my entries, but I didn't do great. How did you do?
Oh man, I lost 95% of my entries. I was so heavy on Rondell Moore. And then I think I had one lineup with Greg Dortch. I just didn't see the work there for him unless Rondell Moore got hurt. Now, look, I mean, just as a Cardinals fan, he's a guy who should have been getting more love early in the season, regardless of who was healthy. He was playing really well, so it was a good play. But look, man, this isn't that elusive 4-2 where you have the two wide receiver stack from the other team with no quarterback, and this was the slate to do it on. Cardinals couldn't score. It was embarrassing.
Yeah, they're a piece of shit. Let's go out and get Sean Payton, man. Let's do it. Let's make him the GM. Let's make him the owner. Let's do it. Just pay him whatever you're gonna pay him. All right, let's.
We can't cry about the Cardinals on the Dallas Cowboys show.
I know.
Dude. We can't let those fans see that shit.
I know. All right, so let's talk about this matchup. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. Throw us a like real quick. Subscribe if you can. We appreciate it. Giants 7-3. Dallas Cowboys 7-3. Giants traveling into Dallas. This looks like this should be an ass whooping on paper. I don't know, man. I don't have my button ready again for the division rivalry speech that anything can happen. This is a 45.5 total, and Dallas is favored by 10 at home. Is there any path to the Giants surprising people? Basically, there might be 45 million people watching this. This is going to be such a huge game. Can the Giants come out, and can Daniel Jones not shit his pants on national television and have a pretty good game?
Yeah. So look, this is, I mean, you said it. It's a division rivalry. The Giants, they get up to play Dallas every time they play. They play twice every year, right? Now they actually have something to play for. You cannot lose any ground in the NFC East. Crazy to say that they have the best record, so I don't think they're the best division in football. I think they played some sloppy talent, but look, the Giants, they need to stay in the playoff race, and to do that, they need to beat Dallas. So I think that they're going to come out prepared. They're going to come out with the understanding that they need to be competitive here. And just real quick, looks like you got the odds backwards. New York is not favored.
That's
but
definitely wrong.
Their implied total and plus 10 is correct.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just inverted.
Oops.
But look, guys, I think Dallas does have a path to lose this game, and the Giants can win. But we need to see what Dallas is. Their defense seems like they're really, really good now. So I do think that their defense could shut this down pretty early too.
All right, let's get into injuries here. So there's not a ton to talk about like fantasy wise, really. I mean, there are some guys out for sure. Sorry if you guys can't see that. I never can get a consistent like actual like document that's like formatted the same from these slates. Questionable players for the Giants. You got a DB that's questionable. You got Richie James questionable. And some offensive line issues. So the Giants have some major offensive line issues. I think half their line's injured or something like that. They're not even traveling with the team. So this could be bad for them. I don't know who their backups are. I don't really study these guys' offensive lines, but from what I've read, it doesn't look good. And so the guys that are out is Bellinger's still out, and let's see, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it to talk about. When you go to the other side here, what's the major injuries we're looking at? We're looking at Micah Parsons questionable, DeMarcus Lawrence questionable. Those are obviously big. It seems like those guys will probably play. But Zeke he was questionable earlier, but now he had a full practice, so it looks like he's going to go. Anything jump out to you here? There's not really a whole lot of injuries to talk about, right? Besides the fact that the Giants don't really have any players at this point. They're pretty much, most of their wide receivers are screwed at this point.
Yeah, nothing big to point out here. Again, just tomorrow's going to be kind of crazy, so pay attention to inactives. You never know; somebody might be a late scratch. Maybe they had Thanksgiving too early and their stomach's fucked up. You never know, so pay attention.
Break it down. All right, let's get into the breakdown. Dak Prescott, 11K. Daniel Jones, 9,200. Man, he's priced down. He had one bad game last week. Look, they looked terrible against the Lions. Maybe the Lions are coming on. Maybe the Lions are better than their record. I don't know. But if you're they were 7-2 at that point, and you lose to the Lions, that's probably not a good look. Daniel Jones went 6 starts without throwing a pick, and he threw 2 in that game last week. Dak Prescott has looked, he looked great against the Vikings. They absolutely dominated the Vikings. So look, with the pricing here, Daniel Jones that priced down that low is actually pretty interesting to me, both at captain and in the flex, because he has that rushing ability. The Cowboys defense gives up 5.7 yards per carry to quarterbacks, and they generally do not have a good run defense. So any interest in Daniel Jones here? We all know Dak Prescott's going to be super popular. Is Daniel Jones going to get kind of forgotten about, or I don't know? What do you think his ownership's going to come in at?
I don't know yet. I think he'll probably be close to around 35-40% owned. I like Daniel Jones, man. At that price, like he's going to be somewhat competitive for this game to stay competitive, right? And to your point, we were talking about a pre-show. I didn't want to steal your thunder, but I'm with you, man. I think he really has an opportunity to score a rushing touchdown tomorrow. I think it's probably one of the more likely touchdowns that we see if the Giants offense does get going and they're able to make it competitive. Yeah. Again, I think the real question here is, how is Dallas's defense going to play? They've been playing really well this year, and if they come out and get a lot of pressure, if they're able to stop Saquon Barkley early, it's going to be really difficult for Daniel Jones to get going. So, but if he can get going, man, I do think there's rushing upside there, and he probably will have a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the way that these lineups are coming out, like just building some of these lineups, it's not fun or easy to build these lineups at all. We're just going to warn you ahead of time. You're going to have to fade probably 2 studs in each lineup unless you go way down at the captain spot. So talking about that, I want to get both quarterbacks in here. I think I do, because Daniel Jones at 9,200, if he can give you an 18 fantasy point game, he might be the 1 or 2 Giants that you need if you're building that way, like a 5-1 or 4-2s or whatever. He might be the one guy you need, especially if he gets one of these BS like goal line rushing touchdowns, because that changes everything when a quarterback rushes for a touchdown. Let's go to running backs. Let's start with Dallas here, man. So Tony Pollard absolutely crushed last week. He's been crushing. Zeke Elliott's been hurt, but he's come back, and he's looked pretty good too. Zeke Elliott's at 8K, and Tony Pollard's at 9,800. Man, everybody's going to be on Pollard, and they should be. But I don't think you can forget about Zeke here. He scored, 2 goal line touchdowns? Maybe he's the goal line guy. And maybe they're going to let Tony Pollard run wild, for the rest of the field. I don't know how they're going to split that up. Zeke Elliott still got 15 carries. And this is the biggest thing to talk about here. I kind of buried the lead. The Giants defense sucks ass, dude, at giving up a run. They're 5.3 yards per carry allowed to running backs this season. That is not good. Their pass defense is probably one of their stronger points, but they're not incredible, but their rush defense is terrible. So both these guys should eat. And for a team that's minus 10, that's favored, most likely leading towards the end of this game, you could see Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott just closing this game out with a ton of garbage time points potentially. So what do we do here, man? I know you're probably not as high as on Zeke as I am, but dude, if you put Tony Pollard at captain and put Zeke in the flex, that is a high probability that either one of those guys are going to score a touchdown, and the ownership is probably not going to be very high on those sort of builds. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I think my thoughts are just that the Cowboys are favored by 10 points. You hit the nail on the head there. I think that there's a realistic game script here that the Cowboys dominate mostly with defense and running the ball, and that makes it easy to kind of get different on a slate like this. I really think people are going to be stacking up the Cowboys pretty heavily. But to get different, I think it might be fine to run, just like you said, Tony Pollard a captain, a Zeke in the flex, and maybe run it back with four Giants, hoping that they can score some touchdowns to keep them in the game. But I
Yeah.
do think that you can soak up a lot of the offensive production just by getting both backs. I mean, think about it. Like, even if you faded Dak Prescott in the Showdown slate on Sunday, if you had Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott, you had 4 total touchdowns,
Yeah.
right? You had 2 rushing, and then you had 2 receiving. So you got a lot of that Dak points without having Dak. So, I don't want to get too crazy here, but fading Dak, you're gonna have to fade somebody or play somebody you're probably uncomfortable playing a captain. So I don't know. I think you maybe fade Dak, stack up the running backs here, and then run it back with the Giants. But I like both guys, man. I'll probably be above the field on Zeke.
Yeah.
Then no spoilers. I'll play Tony Pollard at captain a lot too.
All right. Well, you must have misspoken for our fate of the night earlier. So we're going to have to put a disclaimer before that one. Or did I talk you
Oh
into it
yeah.
earlier before the show? I don't know. But if you're fading Dak, I think the smart way, obviously, Pollard would, you're going to have to spend up and put salary somewhere. But I think Zeke Elliott, instead of Dak in some lineups, is probably a very nice pivot because 2 of those goal line touchdowns, if that changes to a passing touchdown or to a quarterback sneak, that's terrible. But if it goes to Zeke Elliott, man, you're going to be loving life. Let's go to the other side here. Not a whole lot to talk about here. You have one of the best running backs in the league, Saquon Barkley. He had a bad week last week. Look, this Cowboys rush defense, like I said earlier, is not very good either. So if they're gonna want to stay in this game, they're gonna have to establish Saquon early. They're gonna have to establish that run. They're gonna have to open up that play action for Daniel Jones. Saquon's gonna be super popular. He's 10.4K. I don't see a path that if the Giants are competitive that he doesn't go off, right? Or at least have like a 18 fantasy point game with a touchdown and a handful of receptions and maybe 100 yards rushing. I don't know. What are your thoughts here, man? Saquon Barkley is going to be very popular. I might have him in almost every lineup.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the approach. If you are fading him, and you think the Giants are staying competitive in this, then I think you probably want to look at a guy like Darius Slayton or whatever. That's probably going to be the next most explosive player that they've got on the squad. But otherwise, like, even if you're running like a 4-2 with Dallas or 5-1 with 5 Dallas players, I think Saquon's still probably the one you need to have. It's most likely that he's the highest scoring Giant player tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
There's nobody
I
else on the
love
team.
Saquon.
There's just
Go
nobody. I
ahead.
mean, you got Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, and then you got obviously you've got a handful of wide receivers that could do something, but Saquon and Daniel are going to be most likely the highest scoring players on this slate. So if you do a 4-2 and you run back with Saquon and Daniel Jones, that probably is the safest bet. When it comes to Matt Breida, he's 4,600. He scored a touchdown last week, I believe, but he's $4,600. He's getting like 17% of the snaps. I'm not interested in him at all. If this is me, I'm doing this. And yeah, it could bite me in the ass if Matt Breida scores fucking 3 touchdowns or something. Well, it's not my day for Thanksgiving. I'll play the Patriots Minnesota slate later that night. But yeah, I'm not interested in the backups here for the Giants. Are you?
No, absolutely not. Let's
Moving
move on.
moving on. Let's go to wide receivers for the Giants. Darius Slayton, 7,200. At one point, this guy was $200 in like week 3, and he wasn't even really seeing the field. And now he's the main, basically the only target on this team. You got Isaiah Hodgins, 2,200. Richie James, who's questionable, 5,200. And you got Mr. Kenny Galladay, man. Fans are ironically cheering for him when he makes a reception because the guy has not done shiza this year. Marcus Johnson's 200, David Still's 200. I mean, look, Isaiah Hodgins I think is going to be a little bit popular because he's 2,200. But dude, I don't know about any of these guys really. I'm not confident in any of these guys. Slayton is the best option here. I'm probably going to have the most of him, but I'm not having like 40% Slayton. I'm probably going to be around the field, maybe above the field at 30%. Maybe I throw him into like 7% of my lineups at captain or something. So what do we do here with all these guys? I think you got to try to fit one of these dudes in, either them or one of the tight ends, right?
Yeah, look, I think I'll probably be with the field on most of these guys, getting a little bit of exposure. Not Kenny Galladay. I don't know what's going on with that team, but for whatever reason, they just felt like throwing in money, but not the ball.
Dude, he's gonna
So
score
I
this
think
week. He's gonna. I'm telling you, he's gonna score. I don't know why. This is just a hunch. There's too much narrative going on, but I almost guarantee he's gonna score. I'm not gonna play him in fantasy, but maybe I'll put like $10 on him for anytime touchdown score or something like that. I don't know. So
yeah.
I agree with you with Kenny Galladay. I'm not playing him for fantasy, but man, I know he's gonna score. It's just gonna happen.
But with that being said, I don't mind Richie James. Look, I mean, look, if the Giants are going to stay in this game, they're going to throw a passing touchdown or two. It's very possible they both go to Saquon Barkley. But I do think one of these guys can catch it. Now, I think you talked about this a little bit, but I think Darius Slayton's a very interesting captain option as well. He'd be probably on the lower end of the guys. Like when it comes to the lower end of salary, he'd probably be one of the guys I'm most comfortable playing. If he does anything, like we know that he's an explosive wide receiver. We know that he can go out and, do 5 catches, 100 yards and a touchdown or two. So, I don't mind getting him in that captain spot so that we can at least have a little bit of flexibility so that we're not just, blindly punting somewhere else. But again, I don't know. I think you maybe get a little bit of one. You sprinkle in one of these guys, don't get any more than one. That's probably unnecessary. And Isaiah Hodgins he's a fine punt, I guess, at 2,200.
I wonder if this game is like the Odell Beckham Bowl. Like, if the Giants win this, like, does Odell Beckham sign with the Giants? I have no clue. If you're the Giants and you win this game and you're 8-3, you got to go get a number 1 or at least a number 2 wide receiver. You don't even have a wide receiver on your team. Slayton, no offense to him, I think he's a solid maybe number 3, which is what he originally was supposed to be this year, I believe. They got to go out and get a wide receiver because this looks terrible. This is not, you cannot win a playoff game with these guys. All right, let's go to Dallas side. CD Lamb 10.8K, Michael Gallup 6,600, Noah Brown 4,400, Cavante Turpin 200. So CD Lamb, man, I want a lot of CD Lamb. I think this is a CD Lamb Thanksgiving. I really do. I think this guy comes out and scores 2 touchdowns. I think he has 100 yards. He's going to put on a show. I think this is kind of his coming out party for the year. He's had a good year. I mean, he hasn't had a bad year. But now that you got Gallup back, you got Noah Brown, you got these guys. I mean, look at this, 41 points against Green Bay. I think he comes out and has an amazing game. He's going to be my highest owned captain. And I also like Gallup and Brown too. So what do you think, man? I think Gallup and Brown will be completely forgotten about. But I think with a team that probably is going to come out and pass the ball quite a bit, you got to try to fit one of these other dudes in, maybe as well as the tight end. So what do you think about CeeDee Lamb?
So I think again talking about spoilers here, but when I was thinking about my fade of the night, right? This is kind of why I think I'm still going to end up probably fading Zeke to some extent. Like I talked a big game earlier, said I might be above the field, but it's going to be tough, right? Because I want to get Tony Pollard, I want to get CeeDee Lamb, and then from there I got to decide like, am I going to get Dak Prescott? Am I going to get Saquon? Or am I going to get Zeke? But look, you got to play CeeDee Lamb. I mean, he's a volume, like, I don't know, vacuum. Like the all the volume goes directly to him. He could easily see 34 targets tomorrow and you know end up like this could be the Terrell Owens game. Remember when he had like 27 receptions and like 15 in the first quarter or something? I think that was Thanksgiving game too. But yeah, man, CeeDee Lamb's the guy. And then to your point, if you wanted to maybe fade the running back on the Dallas side, I think you can do a nice stack with Dak, CD, and Michael Gallup, Dak, CD, and Noah Brown, and then maybe even throw in Dalton Schultz or whatever, or a kicker. But look, I think the passing game, it's definitely a fun way to go. Dak, I don't know, man. Like, dude, like if we think about it, I do think there's going to be a lot of rushing involved, right? But like, there is the off chance that Dak, has just been holding back his anger about this quarterback fucking
Yeah.
controversy that shouldn't exist to show on prime time at 4:30 when literally everybody's watching him play. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like
Everybody.
he's still a good quarterback. Like I don't like the Cowboys, but like let's not be dumb with some of this bullshit. Like he could come out and throw for 350
Oh
and
yeah.
easily Lamb and Gallup blow up.
I think he
So
does.
look, man, yeah, I think you can go ahead and do that, right? Play
Uh,
them all.
Play them all. Let's go. Any interest in Turpin at 200?
No, Tolbert, if he's active, I
Oh
might be
yeah.
at 800.
No, sorry about that. Yeah, actually Tolbert. Yeah, you're right. All right.
But that's just random stabs, $800 if I need a decent punt.
Yeah, there's not a ton of value on the slate. That's the frustrating thing. There's not really that. Even the value we have is just they can absolutely get you a zero. All right, tight ends. So Dalton Schultz is 7K, Peyton Hendershot 400, and Jake Ferguson 1800. We talked about these guys earlier in the year when Schultz was hurt, and we talked about how Peyton Hendershot is kind of more of the pass catching guy. Ferguson's going to be on the field more, but he still gets those opportunities. I believe each one of these guys has scored a touchdown this year. So it wouldn't surprise me if a guy like Hendershot caught a touchdown. Maybe he has 2 receptions for 10 yards and a touchdown, something like that. But at $400, man, you're going to crush if you got him $400. Jake Ferguson 1800, but Dalton Schultz, I think people are going to forget about Dalton Schultz because he's in that 7K range. There's guys around him, like if you pay up a little bit, you can get to Zeke. And the 7K range is kind of tough to fit in because you just have so many expensive guys that you want to fit. Thoughts on Dalton Schultz? I think he's an incredible captain option too.
Yeah, I think he's up there with maybe slightly ahead of Slayton on guys that I'm comfortable with playing at captain that are cheap. 7K, he's going to get you a decent amount of flexibility. I still think it's going to be hard, and you're going to have to make some decisions elsewhere. But I think the lineups he gives you is a little bit more comfortable. And then to your point again, like there's just so many other like top end plays that you kind of have to play that it's going to be real easy to forget about Dalton Schultz. And getting him in might be worth, instead of playing, 2 kickers, for example, around that price range, you run Dalton Schultz and say, fuck it, and play $800 Jalen Tolbert. That's one of the ways I think you can get different on the slate. But
Yeah.
outside of that, I don't think I'm interested in Jake Ferguson, Peyton Hendershot, $400. I don't mind it. It's whatever.
Yeah, I think these guys here are interesting options, but just as a straight punt on the lineup for sure. I'm gonna call it right now. My low owned player to score is Hendershot, and also Galladay. Unfortunately, I'm still not playing him though. All right, let's move to the other side here. So this is interesting. You got Lawrence Cager is now the guy. Fucking Luke Cage over here, 12K. Tanner Hudson 200, Chris Miarek at 200. Cager is going to be. I think he's going to be kind of popular because there's no other real value that's actually going to be on the field that much. And technically, this guy is the starting tight end. And let's see how much was he on the field last week? Let's look at that. He's on the field 71% of the time. Week 11, week 10, 67%. Last week he ran 28 routes. So he's the guy that's getting involved. I still think that if you play him, there's a chance that he can get a 0, but he's going to be on the field quite a bit. So any interest in Luke Cage?
Yeah, absolutely, man. $1,200. I don't have any problem playing a dude who's going to be on the field, and just based off his initial ownership projections, I don't even think you need to get that much of him. You can get enough of them to feel comfortable, but not overexpose yourself to a guy that could end up with 0.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I think Tanner Hudson, whoever the active backup is, and probably be Tanner Hudson. At $200, he's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want that 0, but if he gets an 8.8 or a 5.4 again, like that's 100% acceptable on a slate like this where you need that kind of value to jam in some of these other pieces. So, God damn it, we're gonna end up clicking both these guys in every lineup in a minute here, aren't we?
Yeah, we might. Well, we might. I hope not. I really hope not. That's going to show kind of what our night's going to be like if that's the case. Brett Maher, 4K. Graham Gano, 3,800. Kickers, I don't know, man. It's a dome. I don't know. I'm going to stop trying to pretend like I know when the kickers are going to do well. I went heavy on Matt Prater on Monday, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to kickers. What do we do here? Just be with the field?
Yes, just be with the field. If you land in a spot where you have anywhere around 4 to 5K, it's fine.
Defense, Cowboys, 5,600. They're going to be popular. Look, the Giants, they give up a lot. Their offensive line's struggling, and they give up a lot of sacks, man. Let's see. They gave up a ton of sacks last week. This team can cause turnovers. Dallas has the most sacks in the NFL this year. So 5,600, I think they're going to be pretty popular. Now, I'm interested in them as well. I do think that pairing them with Zeke, or Pollard, that's a solid core of 3 guys that I think can score. What are your thoughts here, man? Any interest in the Giants at 3,200 too?
Yeah, I actually think both defenses are in play. The Giants to a minimal extent, but again, like we got to come up with ways that this game stays competitive. And ring the bell, division rivalry. If there is a way, it's a strip sack touchdown, right? That'll keep the Giants in the game pretty quickly. But again, they'll probably be 4 or 5% owned. You only need a lineup or 2 if you're doing a bunch. If you're only entering 1 or 2 lineups, don't fucking do it. For the Cowboys, 5,600. Yeah, again, there's a good chance that they do okay. If they score a touchdown, they'll definitely be in the optimal. But if they only give up, 7 to 10 points and have a 6, 7, 8 sack game, which is very possible, they could end up in the optimal 5,600. Again, I don't know how much I'll get to them just because of their price, though.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, let's give away our DraftKings $50 gift card. This was randomly, show it off there, bro. This was randomly selected. I basically copied and pasted the site, and they randomly selected one of the comments that was left on our last video. Let's do it. It's T. Trissel. T. Trissel, you are the winner. We appreciate you guys for commenting. The way you're going to redeem this is you can DM me on Twitter. You can hop in the Discord. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna then go and ask you to then change your original comment, the Garoppolo comment, and add something to it so I know that it's you. But go ahead and hit me up, and we'll mail out this gift card to you. We appreciate you. Let's get to our captain. We're gonna do this again for 900 subscribers as well. Let's get to our captain lineup here.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Ellie, you're going Pollard. I'm going CD. Not a whole lot of explanation here. Pollard is priced well and has that upside, and I think he's going to get a lot of the volume. CD Lamb, I think this is going to be one of his breakout games. I think he's going to absolutely crush in this game like he did against Green Bay. Let's move to our fade. Ellie, go ahead and give the disclaimer here.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Zeke.
Yeah, man.
You
I
like
don't know.
Zeke, obviously like Zeke, but we're gonna have to like not play somebody. So like he's gonna be around 20% owned. So if you get
Yeah.
15% of him, 10% of him, you're kind of fading him. I mean, you kind of are. So I personally, I'm gonna be double the field probably. I'm gonna have a lot of him. So there you go. So you could probably, you know, if he crushes, you can be mad at Ellie. If he doesn't crush, you can be mad at me. New York Giants backup running backs, I'm not interested in them. I think that along with the rest of the field, they're not interested in them as well. So that's not too much of a bold take. Let's build a lineup here. Let's go ahead and click the button and see what it does. This gives us Dak Prescott at captain, Hudson, Hodgins, Pollard, Barkley, and CD Lamb. Let's build our own lineup. Do you want to start with? I mean, look, okay, so Dak Prescott is a great captain option. He's going to be one of the most popular guys, though, and he's expensive, so it's going to be hard to build with him. So I'm not going to have any Dak Prescott. I probably will have some Daniel Jones, but I'm going to go with let's go with CD Lamb since he's like the most expensive besides Prescott, and we'll kind of figure things out from there. All right, so what do you want to do here? You want to jam in Prescott with him?
Yeah, let's start with Prescott and Saquon, and let's use that as our core and see where we end up.
Yeah. All right, so we definitely want to get Tony Pollard, but here's our issue. I mean, you're screwed. You got $2,600 left for two guys. You punt with a $200 guy, you still got to punt again because we don't really have the value. You probably getting Luke Cage and one of these tight ends for $400 or whatever it is. I don't know that I want to do that. Let's build it just to show it. So maybe you go, I don't know, Tanner Hudson, and that gets you 20. Actually, maybe you don't need to go Tanner Hudson. Let's put in Luke Cage. That gives you 1,400. And what does that get us? Nothing. Tolbert. I'm not.
I mean,
interested.
if you throw in Hudson, you can go back to Isaiah Hodgins, but that's getting
not
a
bad.
little weird.
I mean, Cager and Hodgins are kind of the same guy. You know, it's both risky. So we got to do something here, man. We got to get. This is why it's gonna be difficult. We got to get rid of Pollard. We got to get rid of Prescott. Can we get rid of Prescott with CeeDee Lamb and the captain? I think we can. Right?
Yeah, let's get rid of Prescott. Yeah.
All right. I mean, so where do you want to go here?
Let's put in Jones.
All right, let's do that. Save us a little bit of money. So you could get a kicker here. So if you went Brett Maher, and then you just punt with a $400 guy, well, who do we want here? You want Hendershot?
I mean, you got.
Well, I know you don't want Hendershot, but it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter. If you're doing one lineup, this is probably not a build. Maybe this isn't a build you want to do unless you have you're really confident. But Hendershot, you got Hudson, you get any of these dudes that are $400. Just keep rotating them out. Yeah. I'll have like five, like this lineup, I'll have like 5 different times with different value in this last spot, and then I'll switch the kicker as well. I'll switch that to the other kicker or something. All right, so that's a decent CD Lamb lineup. I don't love it. I'm gonna have to try to find ways to get pretty different with him at captain because I'm gonna play a lot of him. Let's go. What do you want to go? Saquon next?
Hold on. Let's run one more CD. Let's fade the run game on both sides entirely.
Okay.
So let's go CD, Dak, Daniel Jones, throw in Dalton Schultz.
Okay.
And then throw in Michael Gallup. What does that leave us with? 1,200?
No, you can't get Gallup. You got 6,600 total. So you go with a guy like Noah Brown. That gets you. Does that get you Nick Cage, Luke Cage? Yeah, it does. Or you can do. Can you get what's his bucket? Isaiah Hodgins, 0 salary remaining. That's not bad. There you go. You have to make some tough decisions though, because you got Lamb, Prescott, Jones. I mean, we faded Saquon here, which is not something I want to do. We faded Saquon and Pollard. That's scary. That's incredibly scary. Yeah. For two teams that suck ass at rush defense, I don't know, man. It is scary, but you're gonna have to make tough decisions tonight. All right, let's go to Saquon at captain. What are we thinking here? You want to do like a 2-4 with Saquon and Jones and fit the rest of the guys in?
Yeah, that works.
All right, Saquon, Daniel Jones. I mean, we're probably going to have to fade Prescott here unless we go like middle of the road with all of his guys. I don't know. What do you think?
Let's start with CD, and then can we even afford Pollard after that? We should be able to, yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely afford Pollard. We're still good. That leaves us with
And then
4,600. So you could do Noah Brown. You could do Noah Brown and then completely. Well, you can't quite get Hendershot. Who else could we get? Man, this sucks. Tolbert. Yeah, there's just not a lot. Maybe we go with a kicker here.
Yeah, but and then you still have to go down to like Tanner Hudson or
Yeah, you can get
Hendershot, whatever.
at that point, but oh boy, I'm not hand building for this at all. I'm gonna withdraw all responsibility for winning or losing and just let mess with all my settings and let Fantasy Cruncher do his job. Any other kind of builds you want here with Barkley? You want to do like a 4-2?
Yeah, let's do a 4-2 and then leave Daniel Jones in there. And then same thing, CD Lamb and Pollard, I guess.
All right.
Or maybe instead of Pollard, throw in Zeke.
Yeah, let's try that. Let's save this about almost $2,000. So 6,400. I think this is where you grab one of these middle of the road wide receivers. Maybe it's a Richie James if he's active. Maybe it's that's pretty much it, dude. Like they don't have players on this team. $1,200 that gets you. Who does that get you? Cager, Nick Cage. So that's not bad.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's not bad. So who are we fading here? We're fading Pollard, which
Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard.
Yeah. So that's not ideal, but it's not as bad as we had it on some of those other lineups. At least you have Zeke Elliott as a pivot. All right, you want to move on from this, or do you want to build something else?
Yeah, let's move on, dude.
All right, who do you want to get?
I don't. Let's go with Tony Pollard.
All right. So he is basically, what is he, like 1.5K cheaper than CeeDee Lamb, so you're still not going to get a ton here. Do you want to fade Dak and put Zeke in here or something?
Let's start with CD and then we'll do that on the next build. Let's go CD and then run it back with 4 Giants if we can.
All right,
go
cool.
CD, Daniel, and Saquon. Yeah.
All right. Dude, these builds with 4 Giants, they're not going to be popular. There's no way. There's just not 4 guys that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting. 4,900. Dude, I have no clue. Where do we start?
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I would just throw in Tanner Hudson, and then I would just kind of work my way down. You got Noah Brown. You can even throw in Matt Breida if you're feeling fucking crazy. Matt Breida, Noah Brown. You got Kenny Galladay, Maher, Gano, Giants. Like you can literally just work your way down.
Yeah, you can work your way down. Get like 7 lineups out of this.
If you're running a 4-back, right? Like if you really don't think that anybody's going to be able to get you the point per dollar play, like at $200, like if everybody else is getting 1, then being able to get that next tier might be worth it. And then same here. I mean, even with Isaiah Hodgins, 2,200 and Luke Cage, like that's not awful, man.
Yeah,
like,
because these are basically the highest volume guys on this entire team. I mean, minus Slayton, we just can't afford Slayton. But these are the highest volume guys for the most part. So I don't know. It doesn't mean they're good plays, but they're going to be on the field. All right. So let's uncheck Pollard here. Oh, you want to do another one? Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, hold on. I want to actually try something off of that. So go Tony Pollard, go CD, and then go Dak.
Okay.
And then go who do we have? We have not Daniel. Go Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
And then this isn't terrible either. I mean, if you're gonna rotate those shitty spots, like you can throw in
Luke Cage.
You can throw in Tanner Hudson, Luke Cage. Like I wouldn't mind punting twice to do something like this. You know what I mean? Like this isn't an awkward build. I'd be comfortable running because you're getting all the offense from Dallas and probably all the offense from the Giants, even if you have a touchdown or 2 thrown. So
this isn't pretty so far. It's not. Let's go. Let's do an F-it lineup with like somebody cheap. Let's do actually. All right, so we have Slayton and we have Elliott, which I like. I'm not going to build with them. You know what? I am going to build with Elliott because I'm going to have a decent amount of Elliott captain. So let's put Elliott. Let's put Tony Pollard with him. Let's do a Daniel Jones. Let's do Saquon. 8,600. Let me get Slayton in here. And guess what that gives us? Luke Cage. That was your last guy. That's a 2-4 with Elliott and Pollard. Probably stupid. I want CeeDee Lamb. I want Dak Prescott. But this sets up perfectly for dominating run game in the first half and, Giants catching up in the second half, sort of a thing. All right, any more? You want to do one more?
Yeah, let's get crazy. Let's throw Tanner Hudson in the captain.
Bro. All right, where the hell is this dude? Tanner Hudson. I can't even find him. All right, I'm just...
Yeah, don't even just press the button.
Yeah, just press the button. Let's just see what happens. Slayton, Pollard, Barkley, Lamb, Prescott, Hudson at captain. There you go. That's the Millie maker right there, man. It's going to happen.
Let's do it.
Ellie, so after building, man, I don't know, dude. I don't know. What? Look, I don't mind Dallas playing every Thanksgiving, but let's get rid of the Lions. Let's do it this way. The Lions have to in the next 5 years, they have to win three of their games, or they're kicked off of fucking Thanksgiving. Should we start a petition or something with that? Because I do not want to see them playing anymore. I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on? So, what are your thoughts on these games altogether for Thanksgiving? And what is your final score prediction?
I think all these games are setting up to be absolute dog shit. But it's nothing new to any of the primetime games we've seen up until this point, other than what was it, Chargers Chiefs? I think that was pretty fun the other night. Mm-hmm. Final score to this game, I'm gonna go 27-17 Dallas.
Yeah. I think this will be a fun game. I think 31-17 Dallas. I think it'll be competitive in the first half, and then they'll sort of move away in the second half. Who's your low-owned guy that you want to score, or you think will score?
Tanner Hudson.
Yeah. I'm going Hendershot, and I'm still sticking with Kenny Golladay scoring. All right.
And Luke Cage. We also like Luke Cage.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Anything else to talk about here, man?
No, enjoy your family. To the winner, congratulations of the skip card. When I will, when we mail it out, there's a receipt in there that shows it's activated and stuff. Just don't hunt down the CVS that I got it at. They're cool people.
All right, guys, we'll see you later. Throw us a like on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't. We're trying to get to 1,000. We appreciate you guys. We will see you for Sunday Night Football.